receptive are you to advice? This is a question that I've been asking myself recently because I have been noticing as I've been trying some new things that people are giving me advice. And sometimes I am all ears. I am leaning in. I am listening. I'm writing down everything they say. I am practicing it. I am trying it. And other times people will give me advice and I'm thinking, yeah, thanks, but no thanks, and no, and I do not, and I don't understand. Look, what is it that is making me react that way? So I've been thinking about this for myself, and then I started this conversation last week on LinkedIn to ask this of other people, and I did a quick poll, and it was interesting. There's a lot of engagement in this, and the lowest number was expertise. So the lowest reason people will listen to the advice is that the person is an expert, which is fascinating because even if you have a strong track record of success yourself, you have the qualifications to be giving this advice, that is not necessarily what is going to make people listen to you. So when I get to what the big one was of course impact. When I listen to this person's advice, it works. And I've been thinking about that in terms of how do we give advice to other people if you want to have the impact. First, it's not just saying, well, I did this thing and you should do it too. It's giving the advice in the context that the other person will need to apply it. In courageous cultures, we call this practicing the principle. So really being curious about what are all the dynamics that are going on for this person and what is it that will make them have the most likelihood of success. Okay, all right, next one, 24% said style. And, of course, we talk a lot about this, confident humility. So you want to have the confidence to say, hey, I've got some advice here and some things that have worked, but you also want to have the humility to know that you don't have all the answers. One approach when you're giving advice that I find really works well is to say, hey, my intent for this conversation is this, and hey, I tried this thing and I'm curious, it might work for you. Or, would you be interested in this best practice that my team has been trying out? We've had some success with it. I'd be happy to share the details if you're interested. Coming with that as an offering. And of course, there's a lot of other things that go with style, and please put those in the comments as well. And then 29% said intention. And this is, do I think the person who's giving me advice has my best interest at heart? And of course, this all depends on the relationship that's there, but also what are their intentions? What's in it for them? What's in it for you? So one way to do this, if this is a colleague of yours, is to do it offline and say, hey, my team's been doing this thing. I think it might be helpful. Would you be interested? And just make it informal as opposed to showing up at your boss's staff meeting with a big fancy PowerPoint presentation and say, hey, everybody, watch my best practice. Because then it may look like you are more concerned about your career than actually helping people. Of course, there are times when sharing best practices in a very dramatic and big and organized ways makes sense. But if you're just trying to be helpful to one of your peers, I think sometimes if you just start one-on-one as an offering, it can make all the difference. So those are just a few of my thoughts. Let's keep this conversation going. Last time I said what would make you more likely to receive the advice. Now, how do you give advice in a way that is more likely to be received? See you next time on Asking for a Friend.